Happy anniversary, everybody! It's the 25th episode / anniversary of We Got This with Mark and Hal. This was recorded live during Comic-Con at a very noisy balcony at the Bayfront Hilton in San Diego. So you're going to hear a lot of music, you're going to hear a lot of wind, and a lot of good times. I did cut out the person who came out onto the porch and started talking to us midway through. Maybe I'll release that later as some bonus content. But I wanted to let you know, if you're going to be in Atlanta during Labor Day weekend, Mark and I are going to be at DragonCon. We're going to be recording a live episode of We Got This with special guests Frank Conniff, Trace Ballou, and Bill Corbett from Mystery Science Theater 3000. We're going to have a really cool topic tailor-made for our guests. We're also going to be doing improv shows, an improv panel. We're going to be part of a special concert with our friends Paul and Storm, Molly Lewis, the Double Clicks, Carter Parton Rogers, Mike Furman, and much more. We're going to be doing an episode of Obsessed with Joseph Scrimshaw, which is a great podcast on the Feral Audio Network. And we're going to be doing a very special panel called From Croach to Carlsberg, where we answer your questions about anything and everything pertaining to and not pertaining to Mark and myself. So come on down. The schedule's subject to change, so I don't have exact days for everything. Be sure to check dragoncon.org. The schedule will be posted very soon, and then you'll know all the places that Mark and I will be all DragonCon weekend. Mark and I are so delighted to be part of the Maximum Fun Network. And if you want to learn about some more great Maximum Fun podcasts that we recommend, stick around at the end of this podcast and you'll hear a little preview of some of those shows. And now, without any further ado, episode 25 of We Got This with Mark and Hal.
Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all, best Disney ride.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to We Got This. My name is Mark.
And I'm Hal, and we're live off of San Diego Comic-Con. We're in like a hotel lobby.
Yeah, we're also not live. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
live. We're not live.
Location. Yeah,
We're
we're
live on location.
live on location at Comic-Con.
Live to tape.
Yeah, we have some microphones set up on a patio at the Hilton.
And no rights to any of the music being blared over the speakers on this patio.
Yeah.
But that's fine. We'll just buy the catalogs. I'm sure it's very cheap.
We'll have to stop as soon as anything by the Verb pipe
If this
comes
place
on.
is playing it, it can't be that expensive.
That's true.
The music is generic enough. I don't think we have any problem clearing it.
Hey, who are those two voices that we've never heard before?
They're our guests. And the co-hosts of the Ken PD Snydecast. Ken Plume and Dana Snyder. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you for having
What
me.
you may not know about these gentlemen,
You and
you
I
probably
were
know
sharing
all the things that they do. You know about a bit of a chat. You know about Aqua Teen Hunger Force. But you may not know that they are both huge Disney aficionados, which is why we've had them on to determine what is the best Disney ride. We're going to be talking Disneyland, Disney
Yes.
World, Epcot.
Definitively,
Yeah.
the rules are we're deciding what is the greatest Disney ride of all time. It could be something that has closed that you enjoyed, and it could be from any Disney park. So
Deep
that
diving
is-
for Dana now.
that is, if you want to go World of Motion, you can go World of Motion.
Good.
America sings.
Yeah.
Should we give a structure to this? We're going to go by.
I think what's going to happen is there'll be a lot of rides that we can throw out off the top, but we should
most of them
probably
we can throw
We should give
Like-
honorable mention though.
Can we cut Toontown out of
I don't
out
know.
of
Roger
Disneyland?
Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, if you were going to go Dark Ride, is a pretty good ride.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? That's maybe the best place to start. There are different kinds of rides at Disneyland.
Yes.
Dark rides. What else would fall under dark
You
ride?
could have like
Pinocchio's
Mr.
Daring-
Toad,
Pinocchio's Daring
Snow
Journey.
White,
Anything that's
Peter Pan,
indoors and tableau driven, right?
Blacklight.
Yeah, anything black, white, and flats.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that
And static figures.
our whatever we choose to be the greatest Disney ride is going to probably wind up being one of these dark rides because the out in the open rides are there's so many elements of them that are I could get this anywhere. Dumbo spinning on a vehicle in a circle, I could get anywhere.
That's probably another version of just like your glorified carnival ride.
Right, and they have a lot of
Carousel,
those.
your Dumbo, your
Sure, your Astro Orbiters.
Even the
Everything in
teacups.
The teacups are the
exist.
only ride. The teacups are the only ride at Disney that I refuse to ride.
What now, Mark? A lot of people don't know. Mark is a cast member for many years.
I was the mayor of Disneyland for a very long
During
time.
the 50th anniversary.
During the 50th anniversary.
And
10
Push
years
the
ago.
talking trash can.
Push the talking trash
Captain
can.
Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow. I was the genie in the Aladdin musical.
What was
Yeah.
your least favorite?
My least favorite job was Green Army Man. So it was we would do the pre-parade for the block party bash at California Adventure, and we got full on painted green grease, nothing newfangled
Like
either, like
old,
old timey grease paint.
Emmett Kelly clown
Yeah,
grease paint.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
serious
stuff that killed the Tin Man.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And-
Goldfinger woman.
Right.
On your feet are on a board, right?
And we would, what's that?
Your feet are on a board, right? Aren't your feet connected?
No,
right?
we didn't have the footboards. That was in Orlando.
Okay.
Thank goodness we didn't have to deal with that. But we would walk the parade route with megaphones yelling, "Are you ready for the block party bash?" And we would do this whole pre-show.
And 5 people would say,
They'd get out of the way.
"What time is it starting?"
Yeah, what time's the parade start?
I feel like Orlando's where they send the people who do a poor job as army men. They're like, you're going to strap this board to your feet.
We're going to make you be an
Yeah.
army man,
Yeah.
and we're moving you to Orlando now.
Yeah. Now you have to live in
That's
Orlando.
not what Orlando thinks. Orlando thinks they're better than Disneyland.
Yeah. Which is a completely different.
we found that.
We're gonna do that episode.
those
But
are-
that really is that's a thing.
That is
there.
yeah,
Oh, it's a
they're
total
very-
East Coast, West Coast thing.
Well, I think it's a.
Do they ever
I
come
think
out and they
it's-
go,
I think it's
listen,
a-
how do you Green Army Man out here?
I think it's Walt Disney lived in California and made movies in California
And made
Disney World
Disneyland.
is- and made Disneyland.
And Jackie Gleason lived in Florida.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason, Swoop and Flyer.
Disney World, Florida, Orlando is like, this is what we've got. This
That's all they have.
is our thing.
There's no studios or, those guys, they work at Disney World. Like, I think you have to work 15 years before you get a silver pass.
Really?
Wow. Yes.
At Silver Passes, you can go to the
You
park
can
whenever
go
you want.
in with up to 3 people. It used to be every day, and now it's like some weird thing, too. Like, they only get X number of days.
That is
year,
a blue pass. A blue pass is you get 16. Thank God I don't work there anymore. I'd be fired for this episode.
The episode
A
Disney
blue pass,
doesn't
a
want you
blue
to
pass,
hear.
you can work there. Anybody who's worked there about a year gets a blue pass, and that's you can sign in 3 people 16 times.
Oh, no, you know what it is? No, that's
Silver
not
is
what
the
I'm thinking
unlimited.
of. Yeah, but what Silver does now, they do a thing there where you
We've
have
gotten to
to
the
go in
employee
there
pass
with
portion
them.
of the
It's like
podcast.
some extra step they have to do now. Because people were just like dropping their friends off and running away, and now they're like, no, you need to get the tickets and be
Friends
with
like
them
Dana.
every time they leave.
Oh, listen. The whole. They,
Oh, come on, lay it all out.
All right.
All the
No, no,
reasons
no,
you should have
all
been fired. Yeah.
Here, this is true. This is a thing that they're doing now, where they're saying like, oh, if you do sign someone into the park, you have to stay with them for the entire day. To which I say, the reason that they're coming to the park is because they're going to see me in a show, and they're a friend of mine. I can't be with them all day, and I'm not going to drive to Anaheim on my day off.
You're right.
Just
I'm
to
not gonna
spend
go
the
to
day in
work on my
the
day
park
off.
with somebody who
With
wants
2
to.
humps who
Right.
can't even pay their own way in.
Yeah, exactly.
Are begging me to get them in.
So that's a little bit inside baseball. We haven't talked about the ride.
Well, but before we do, Dana, I learned something about you.
Backstory.
I was in Disneyland with Ken over the 4th of July weekend.
Born a
which
woman.
Just happened. I was born a woman.
No, I was.
Oh, you were born a
learned
woman.
about me.
We both are? Oh, my goodness. Same hospital?
That's right.
Same
Guys,
areas of switcheroo?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
In San Diego, it's whatever's on your birth certificate, so use those bathrooms.
Oh,
Sorry.
Let's show you. Hot swapping.
But I learned, Ken and I went to dinner at Steakhouse 55, which is a very
Yes.
nice restaurant, and he immediately asked the waiter when we were done for inserts from that day's menu.
Oh, yeah.
Because you collect inserts, schedules, like anything paper.
Paper,
Like
ephemera.
all ephemera stuff.
What
The true definition of
popcorn
ephemera
boxes,
is
cups.
things that someone would throw away.
Okay.
Like things you would not go to a
Stuff
place
your
and
wife
keep.
will throw away eventually.
You know, like the disposable stuff that was made to be disposable.
Right.
But I find it the most interesting because that's stuff nobody saves.
I was sitting there eating a chimichanga thinking, Dana would really like this wrapper.
I would have. Sure, it's got the 60th.
It's got the 60th anniversary.
Listen, I saw the picture of the paper plates. I thought, ooh, that's good.
Does it not bother you that it would have like grease from the?
Oh, no, he asked
when
for
you
a
go,
one.
I get two. You know, like as if I like for my old frail grandmother over there. I need two paper plates. I saved the one.
You're just catfishing everybody.
Yeah,
who works at
exactly.
Disneyland.
Right.
You have
Thinking
pointed
of a
to so
grandma.
many old people and said that was your grandmother.
Well, I don't know where they are. Just say like, can I get an extra plate? Well, the employees don't care. Mostly they don't. They're like, well, clearly he's not taking extra.
Oh, it's Grandma Boy again.
Because no one is that big of an idiot.
You're doing like an Ocean's 11 thing, and they're like,
That's right.
"Do you just want another plate?"
Has
We'll give
anyone
you
ever
another
seen
plate.
his grandma?
Yeah. No,
So
they don't.
what is the most valuable thing in your opinion? It's your collection. What's most valuable to you that you have?
I mean, probably the thing I have that's the most valuable. I have about this long. It was originally. It was from the very early
15
days.
inches for those who are
That's
listening to this.
It's a ticket for the railroad, which used to be every single stop had another stub they ripped off, so you could get a whole. But they're
So New Orleans
not,
Square, Markland.
no New Orleans Square.
What do you think is the most important element of a Disney ride? Is it thrill? Is it art direction? Is it story?
I mean, I think
Art
it's got to
direction.
be art direction, but it's also got to be something that everybody can go. If you're going to the true spirit of Disneyland, should be something that every grandma and the little kids
It was
could
supposed
go
to be
on
all
together.
inclusive. That was Walt's whole point, was that it was a park that kids
Like
and their
character
parents
integration,
could
right.
enjoy in equal measure.
Yeah,
And
some grandma
it wasn't
stuff
just
to go on.
Walt sitting on a park bench watching his kids play on cheap
Yeah.
rides.
It was him watching.
But that was the reaction.
That was the impetus.
It was
for
the
it.
impetus for him to.
Yeah, it was Walt saying, "There's got to be something better
For
than
me
this."
to do.
There's got to be something better than this carousel. I'm going to build a park.
They're going to
let's put a
take these
carousel.
2 breads to this carousel again.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I got to I'd do anything. I know I'm going to make a 12-year construction project. I won't have to take him to this carousel anymore.
so if we're gonna go by art direction, I'm just gonna take. Here's one I would take off.
So we already taken out the kiddie rides.
We've taken out the carnival rides and the kiddie
Carnival
rides.
rides.
I love the Indiana Jones ride, but it drives me crazy that they ran out of money. So there are several points where you're just driving through a dark corridor, listening to music.
That's called building anticipation.
Every
Yeah,
once
I
in
don't
a
think that's
while-
about them running out of money. That's the fade out, fade in between scenes.
It's not even. I mean,
No,
there are.
that
they ran
was-
out of money,
That was them.
right? Is that right?
That was them
am I
cutting
wrong?
that whole section where you're making that turn,
And it just goes.
and it's just
nothing.
That's tension
when-
building.
The whole thing is turns. Which
no.
when your car breaks down and then it picks
It's a
back
straight
up.
away.
when your car breaks down, picks back up, and you have the air sound,
And you go through the
and you don't even
pictures.
feel air.
Not the pygmies. It's
sometimes
just you're in the dark.
I think that's an effect that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It may just be a couple of light bulbs that
feel
burned
it,
out.
but
That and the fog with rats on it. I get what they're going
works
for.
better
but,
now.
Yeah.
Like the Tokyo one is better because they figured it out.
Right.
They have Indiana Jones at the Tokyo one?
Yeah, and they also when they first opened, they had a sheet of ice that dropped on the hood of your car, which the sound is still there. When you go into the first main room, like when you go through the doors, there's sort of this little boom, and they had this thing figured out that like instantly froze like a wafer thin sheet of ice that was, as you went through the door, it would like hit the hood of the car as if like this stuff was falling on. But it ran for like a very short period of time. There was like water everywhere.
Let's not drop sheets of ice on
Every ride shorted out.
our customers. I'm sorry, our guests.
Yeah.
Well, that was like the flooding section at the beginning of the Great Movie Ride, the water effect, the Busby Berkeley number, that they took the
were
water
supposed to
effect out of
spin.
there.
Well,
Spin,
they were
and there was-
supposed to spin. It was bubbles, and now it doesn't do anything. You just look at mannequins.
That is up there, top 5 all-time rides for me.
Indiana Jones?
The Great Movie
Ride.
Ride.
Movie Ride. Oh, yeah.
That ride is the Great Movie Ride is at formerly the Disney MGM Studios in Orlando.
Soon to be
now.
Hollywood Adventure.
Is that what they're changing it to? That thing's had more names than Puff Daddy.
And they're gutting, what, 3/4 of the rides? It's
as long as
basically
they
now
don't get
going to
rid of
be,
the Great Movie Ride.
they're getting rid of Muppet Vision.
Well, now it's all TCM.
They're getting rid of,
the Great Movie Ride. It's Robert Osborne at the beginning. He said, "Hello, everyone." Yeah.
For those that don't know, the Great Movie Ride is just it's one of these dark rides. It's tableaus of great movies through history, and
some of them occasionally work.
But it's not like Mr. Toad. It's not like paintings. It's more like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes,
Dark Ride.
it is
full of robots and
Full audio animatronic action.
Yes. It was also a product of licensing because it was during the partnership with MGM when the park opened.
Right.
It was
the
MGM.
signature attraction at
You got Wizard of Oz, you've got Casablanca, a lot of the properties that were controlled by
Tarzan.
MGM at the
favorite,
time.
The Mummy.
And that doesn't feel like a Disney, like if we're talking for the purposes of what's the best Disney ride.
Yeah, we
that
just
feels
figured
like
it out. So join us
skating
next
through
time.
Other film. No. How dare you?
I would throw this
Slapping
out
your
there
hand.
that is one of the best rides to be taken in, one that's been copied at most of the other parks. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion is everywhere.
those two.
Yeah.
I feel like those two are going to wind up on our short list.
Toy Story Mania is everywhere, and there's some form of Snow White and some form of Pinocchio, and there's a bunch of them. Big Thunder's in a lot of them.
Big Thunder, yeah. So
Big Mountain.
Matterhorn is in a couple places.
No, Matterhorn is only in Disneyland.
That's the only one that
Matterhorn only. No.
They have
Expedition Everest.
I would like to pull Toy Story Mania out of the running.
Okay.
Because
and
I
Astro
think,
Blasters.
and
Buzz Lightyear's Astro
not
Blasters.
for the same reasons. Astro Blasters is just a little slow for me. It's a fun ride. It's not the greatest Disney ride. I want to get rid of any ride that is primarily screen
I vote for
based
that too.
because I think it's a cop out.
I'm with you right there.
Okay.
So Soarin' is gone.
Soarin' is
Yes.
gone. Screen based rides.
Can I say I went on
They're
Soarin'?
fun.
Soarin' is fun. If you haven't heard of Soarin' over California, I think it's just Soarin' in Florida or Soarin' over America.
Right.
You sit in these chairs that are elevated and they tilt and
It's like a
bank.
hang glider.
Yeah, and you're watching a film of flying over different areas of California and in California Adventure, and they spray.
You're on a rocking bench
Orange
watching a
scents.
movie. Well,
Well,
they
they spray
spray
orange
scents that linger over the wrong
and
scenes.
pine sol in your face.
See,
So
he's too picky about this stuff.
I went
Yeah,
on that
for a
ride.
guy who loves, and I will say that all four of us are big fans.
I do love it.
We
Yes.
said all.
Disney. I have to say this because Ken is making it sound like he really hates
You know what?
Disney.
He's
and
critical.
He
I mean, he
specifically
expects
hates
more.
I have a high level of expectation for the quality of Disney.
Caballeros ride at Epcot.
It
First
used
time
to be Mexico Journey of...
Yeah, that's right. El Rio del Tiempo.
Rio del Tiempo, that's right.
We get off after first words out of his mouth. That Donald Duck was totally off model. Like the whole ride, like that's all he was. Like, Donald
When
Duck.
I went on Soarin' over California with my wife, and she wanted to sit off to the side. I said, if we sit off to the side, I'm just going to be looking at
The viewing
gears.
angle is not very good.
Yes, it's a bad viewing angle, and you can see all the mechanics. She's like, no, you won't see it at all. Lo and behold, for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, or however long the ride is, I'm just watching gears. Like I'm
You've been
inside a
on
giant
You were
clock.
bored.
I was just looking over like, it kind of ruins the magic, but that also takes Star Tours out of it. We're in a giant
Projection,
banking,
right.
it's
Both versions of Star Tours.
Yeah.
Star Tours is an excellent ride, but it is still a mall simulator. It's you're watching a
It's
screen
maybe the
while you
best
move
mall
around.
simulator, but
It's the world's best mall simulator. But
So we take that out.
So
as
we'll
well.
take Star Tours out. I think this is going to wind up being down to the classics.
Well, we also have the thrill rides, the roller coasters. We have the Disney Mountains. So you've got Big Thunder, you got Space
No
Mountain,
Space
you've
Mountain?
got Expedition
I
Everest.
love Space Mountain.
Space
Why not
Mountain
Space
is-
Mountain?
But
Why not
probably,
Space Mountain?
I'm going to propose this. If you went on, you could go on a really good ride at like Six Flags or something, and they're as close to Space Mountain. Almost any
there are
place
better
can make a
roller
Space
coasters everywhere except Disney.
You want to go on like a Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion, the difference between at a Disney park and anywhere else is the gap is very wide.
I will say this though: the flooded mine ride at Dollywood, which is
you're making the big push for
which is
Dollywood
an
now.
indoor dark ride.
Here we go.
That is a like 1920s-ish prison break of a bunch of convicts who are breaking out of the mine where they all work.
Where they imprisoned them.
in their chain gang.
In the proud Tennessee tradition of
Right.
mine escapes.
Yeah. The coal
And they also have another dark ride there called the Blazing Fury.
What the hell is that
is
about?
that is old timey like 30s firefighters fighting against a fire.
Just firemen.
Just fighting
Putting a fire
putting
out
out
the
a
other one's
fire.
convicts escaping.
Yeah.
Well, they still let Dolly pick all the excuse for the ride.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a little girl, I remember how exciting it was to watch some guys put fire out. Let's do a ride out of that. Everybody loves seeing that.
All right, Miss Barton.
Whatever you
My
want.
daddy broke out of prison.
Yeah.
So
You know what? Daddy broke out of prison. He made it sound real fun. Let's do a ride out of that.
Well, we already have this flooded mine ride. Should we just change all their clothes to prison stripes?
Ooh, yeah.
if we're eliminating roller coasters, so that takes California Screaming off the table, which I am definitely.
That's the only thing you wanted.
You said this earlier.
Yeah.
You were like,
Loveland don't go upside down,
happens.
everybody. Loveland don't go upside down.
Is that what it is?
I
You
don't
don't
want to
go
be
upside
turned
down?
over.
Let me ask you this week. Has
Please.
Loveland been upside down?
He has. And he
Loveland
lived.
didn't like it.
Loveland
Now-
don't want to tempt the fates.
When Loveland was upside down, was it because the bully was holding Loveland upside down and
Yeah,
shaking
by
the
the
change
ankles?
out of his pocket?
Yeah, Loveland's lunch was all over the floor. That's a level of terror I don't care for. I don't know why.
Speaking of terror, that's your other one you're going to knock it.
Oh yeah, Tower of Terror. I've been on the ride multiple times. Every time I go, why am I in this line?
That's the fun of it.
And then when I'm off the ride,
Tower of Terror is more fun in line than it is.
You're not going on it to get like a hug, a reassuring hug. You're going on to be scared. Like it's going to be scary. You know it's going to be scary.
I will say this about the Tower of Terror. When I first went to Disney World in Florida, when they first opened the Tower of Terror, it dropped once.
Oh yeah.
And it was nothing but build up to this one terrifying drop that was an absolute blast. Now it's you go up and you're dropped,
Yeah,
and then
up and
they
down.
bring you back up.
Yeah,
You're
right.
dropped again, up, and you drop 6 times in the course of this ride.
45 seconds, I think.
Is it 45 seconds?
It's less than a minute, the entire ride.
All I know
we looked it up as part of my attempt to argue that he should go on it, and that it wasn't much of a ride, and that it'd be over before he knew it. So we had to look up the exact duration to try and make the case.
The build up to the ride is great. If I
Tell
could just
Loveland
do
it
the
don't
build
go
up.
upside down.
Oh.
Here's the thing.
You don't go bouncy bouncy. You don't go up and down.
I feel like that ride is like even like a loop-de-loop roller coaster. I get it. Like, it's a thrill. You don't get that anywhere else. You're not in a car and then all of a sudden you're doing a loop.
Well,
But
I've done that.
If you have any kind of phobias or fears, one of them undoubtedly is if you're on an elevator wondering, what if this elevator,
Yeah, of course.
what if the cables were to drop?
I don't know. I have phobias and fears.
Dana agreed. There are two of us.
But elevator doesn't automatic. Are you saying that if you have any phobias whatsoever,
No.
elevator is always included?
No, I'm saying like if
I know
there are a
what you're
lot of
talking
people,
about.
you get on and you're like, you know what? I've been on an elevator a million times. It's gonna go
But
fine.
I've seen a lot of
maybe
movies.
this is
what
the
do you
time.
Cable snaps.
Yeah.
The brakes don't all. I'm a disastrous. I'm sitting here. I'm like, that thing could fall off.
Yep.
I've always looked at everything like, how could it engineeringly fail?
Do you have that like Terminator eye where everything's in red and you're looking around and it's
But
just
it's like the Wimpinator or something. Like, oh god, these staircases could. This is.
But this ride takes that fear and says, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
This is exactly how it's going to be. And I
all
know
kinds of those rides do that. They're like, you know what? Are you worried about skeletons turning back into the pirates they once were? Fear.
Are you worried about
Now he's
traveling
not-
back in
now he's not
time?
going on that ride.
Are you not going on
That's
there?
another one you
Yeah.
ruined for him.
That's
Yeah.
you're traveling back in time. You're trying to stretch.
Right.
That's not a. I don't think that sounds reasoning.
Have you ever had that nightmare where a room spins and it goes from turn of the century to the 1920s to the 40s to the 60s and then inexplicably to the 2010s?
What about
do.
flying
Oh.
elephants? Scared of them too?
I'm scared of flying elephants. I'm scared of boy pan creatures.
Basically, Hal is terrified of going to Disneyland.
Impish boy, man.
Yeah, sleeping princesses.
Terrified. Listen.
Mad tea parties.
While we are talking about impish boy men, I've got to give a shout out to
Zac Efron.
To Zac
Big
Efron.
friend of the
you guys.
podcast.
To the Peter Pan ride. Peter
haven't been
Pan's
on the new
flight.
ones.
You been on the new one?
They've
now?
redone it.
They've redone
I
it.
did not
yes.
know this.
Have
Can't-
projections and
All the new effects.
Yeah.
They got projection effects.
Plus-
It is a great ride.
I kind of liked
So
it when
much
it was
fun.
just black lights on stuff underneath you. Yeah.
Well, that stuff's still there.
Okay, good.
Basically, it's all
Peter Pan's eyes
accents.
like a little weird.
Yeah.
angry,
The eyes follow you.
He always looks like he's kind of over it.
slightly drugged.
That ride has my favorite Disney character, which is the TikTok crocodile.
Why is he your favorite Disney
I
character?
love his theme song at the Peter Pan film when he pops up and his eyes google around and he goes. I think that is the funniest thing. It's such a great character, perfect theme song.
75 movies. The one character has no lines. Is in 2 seconds of the whole.
That's how good he is. He makes a lasting impact.
Well, that's true. He does have a great song.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
You're eliminating the teacups.
I'm eliminating the teacups.
What's your deal with the teacups?
The teacups, first of all,
Carney ride.
any three-toothed carny can come up with a teacup ride. No offense to any carnies.
Well, no two-tooth carnies can come up with
Look,
it.
I don't like that ride.
You're down to 2 tooths.
There's a bunch of guys in sweaty muscle shirts and pants with the suspenders.
Yeah, I don't.
I think we just hang the kids upside down.
Yeah, I don't like being spun around. Like, I feel like, that's not my idea of a good time. Maybe that's just me, but I think the thing that's just my personal taste. I don't like.
You don't like to be spun around,
right? But what makes it not the
So you're spin around.
You would have
he's upside
failed
down.
what was your thing?
The teacup
The
challenge.
Ken Plume teacup challenge.
He tried
This
to
is the
find
Plume
the
test.
fastest teacup and spin very quickly.
I
right?
thought it was just. I don't know. What's the actual challenge?
You find the fast teacup because
I thought it was just to watch you spin as
they
fast
always
as you can.
well they always leave one teacup that's unregulated, that's loose.
Are you not?
How do you know? Did you just decide this?
He's just decided this.
Yeah.
There's a video of him sitting in a teacup by himself. And it starts, you see him shoving kids out of the way to get to the specific one. And then it starts and he just spins as fast as he can.
And they're like, who's
And
this
then it's over.
lunatic?
But there's no explanation of what the challenge is. Just to watch it.
There was a family of Japanese tourists that were very impressed by what I did and wanted my photo afterwards.
They're probably like, look at, we watched this fool try to spin.
He knows they were from Japan because the whole world was upside down. So he knew that they were from directly the other side of the world.
Yeah.
All right.
That's fair. It's a carny
Let's get
attraction.
down to.
So we're taking up carny attractions.
Yeah.
Anything you can find in a carnival.
Something easily
Any of the-
reproducible.
Yeah.
So can we?
Any of the roller coasters.
What about Radiator
I don't know.
Springs Racers? I think it's a fantastic ride.
Which
it
is
works
essentially-
at night, at daytime. It's a really good experience. Like look, is Cars the greatest?
It's a better
in the Disney
themed
Pixar
version
library?
of Test
No.
Track.
But you know what? The one factor that it doesn't have, that I feel like the ultimate Disney attraction ride is going to need,
Fear.
Its actual voice.
nostalgia. You can't be nostalgic for a ride that opened to you.
Well, going back to what ultimately my choice is going to be, is I had the conversation. We've had the conversation, Dana and I, before. Is that it's one thing to have a great ride that's built on intellectual property that's pre-existing, like Radiator Springs Racers is Cars. You're using Cars. That's part of your hook to
You
get
like the
people in.
movie, you'll like this ride.
Yes, and the dark rides also play on that. Where you like Snow White, here's the book report.
Yeah.
You like Little Mermaid, here's the book report.
Yeah.
The fact that you can have an intellectual property that was developed whole cloth without any outside influences, that creates a mythology,
I
the
go the same way with
creativity
you.
that goes into that,
There's
I
nothing
think.
more Disneyland to me than a Disneyland ride that is not based on some other movie.
I would agree
we're
with that.
cutting out
Jungle
movie
Cruise.
base. Oh yeah, the Jungle.
No, it doesn't mean we're cutting it out, but I mean, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean couldn't be better because it's totally an invention of just Disneyland. It's not like Buzz Lightyear's Pirates of the Caribbean.
And good enough that it did the reverse where the movie came after.
Or even, I mean, there's a lot of those. You know, I mean, we talk about roller coaster, but like Big Thunder's not based on anything.
No.
And, you know, a bunch of those.
Of all of the mountains, I would put Big Thunder Mountain. I would keep that in contention.
I used to love that so bad when I was little because I love trains, and it's like, ooh, it's awesome because it's like a wild train.
Yeah.
It's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
It's my wife's favorite ride at Disneyland, bar none.
It's a brilliant ride.
Loves Big
It's
Thunder
great.
Mountain.
You know, the one at Paris is insane. It's so much faster.
Really?
It's great. Like,
Because they have no regulations.
Yeah.
We don't care if you die. You don't.
Screw them. Must be their way. But like their whole ride is like in the middle of the river. You get on the shore, but then like before you go up the lift hill, you go under the rivers of America, and then the whole ride is like the middle of the instead of
Like an island in the middle
it's
of-
all Big Thunder.
Oh, cool.
But it's very fast, much faster. All their ones are crazier.
Ride's over in 10 seconds.
So is that the Matterhorn's gone also, even with the new Herald and the new wreckage of the ride?
Well, of the mountains, if we're eliminating the mountains, which mountain would you pick? So you're picking Big Thunder.
I would
because
keep
it's
Big
train.
Thunder in contention. Space Mountain is up there too for me. I know you're not a fan.
I mean, I love Space Mountain, but I think like I could go on Space Mountain, and I mean, I've been on that crazy one at Cedar Point, which is in those big, like, it's like a bobsled track Like you're not on a track, you're in a tube kind of thing. You're in a car that just has wheels. Mm-hmm. So like you can sort of slide.
Oh, sure, where you're
it's like a toboggan run almost.
Oh, you're in a tourist luge.
Yes, exactly.
I just got dizzy.
But they show stars on the ceiling. It looks the same. It's like
so even though we're going to eliminate it, the only one that exists in one park is the Matterhorn, which is the most unapologetically brutally painful ride in any Disney
that
park.
One's the only one that's at there too.
Yes.
Should we do this? Let me throw this out at you guys.
Go for it.
It's going to be a hard decision between the two that's in contention in my mind right now.
We're circling two.
If we can,
everybody, it's either going to be Pirates of the Caribbean or Haunted Mansion.
I was going to say, can we come up with our top 4? Does everybody want to throw one into the mix?
Sure.
If those two are already in there,
okay, those two are already
the Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion. I'd like to throw Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in there.
Okay.
All right. I would throw in Radiator Springs Racers just because I really enjoy.
We don't need
it's very many stages.
It doesn't
of
take me up down.
But I also
give your excuses.
I'm going to immediately pull it out because I would have put one of those two of Haunted Mansion.
I all put those.
I'm also going to immediately pull out. Because I don't want to get this ride pregnant. No, I'm going to immediately pull out the two I put in because I do think it comes down to...
Wait, which two did you put in?
I put in...
Big Thunder?
Or no, just Big Thunder, I guess. But I'm going to... I think it's going to come down to Pirates of the Caribbean or the Haunted Mansion.
For the sheer creativity of the cast members involved, I want to throw Jungle Cruise.
Sure.
The fact
I feel in a way that is sort of the most classic, oldest Disneyland ride.
Classic oldest
from the first day.
Yeah,
but it's also the one I think that gives the most personality as far as what the cast members bring to the park.
That's a really good point I had not thought about.
You never know what you're going to get on that ride. You could get a great cast member, or you could get someone who's like,
which doesn't
look at that lion, it's kind of like a real one.
It's like an open mic night.
It's like going to Benihana. Sometimes they do great tricks when they're cooking the food.
Yes.
And sometimes you're like, wow, this guy's really just going through the motions. He didn't make a heart out of the fried rice. Fried rice.
Well, we did the Tiki Room over the 4th of July weekend.
First time doing the
Tiki Room, which I love.
You call it a ride? Would you consider it a ride?
I would call it an attraction.
Not a ride. Sure.
But
technically they're all attractions.
If you don't know,
they don't have rides, right?
That's true. They have
at
attractions.
Disneyland, of all the hosts at the Tiki Room, there's one called Tiki Maynard. His name is Maynard.
We all know
who is the over.
Don't give him oxygen.
He's a fantastic host of this attraction.
He is.
Is he one of the 4 birds, or this is a real person?
He was the guy who used to work with.
I think he's the 5th bird.
This is a real person.
This is a cast
Maynard.
For whatever reason, he got removed from the Haunted Mansion. Then he was working at the Honey I Shrunk the Audience. But he's famous. There's websites about him.
He's Disneyland famous.
I've read about him for 10 years.
Who is?
I've read about him on
this
Disney sites.
guy.
There's a cast member named Maynard. And
are you going to
he was my host once on this, and I never could find he's almost like a specter. Does he really exist?
He is rather ghoul-like or ghost-like.
But he was the host of the Tiki Room, and he had a whole thing and was working with people. Even gives a nod to the fact.
the Tiki Room.
Yeah.
What?
Now
He has his own spiel. Long spiel.
The first bird, whose name is Juan, is that
Jose.
right? Jose.
Tiki Room is just a parade of racist birds.
It's a parade of
racist and
birds.
sexist birds. Because remember, it's always a hostess.
Yeah.
And the women are kept in a cage with the ceiling when enough water hits them.
They ogle when they come down, ooh.
And then you put them back up.
But the Juan. Jose. I've already said it right.
Because his father was a fireman. He named one Jose, the other Jose. Heyo.
Oh, for God's sake.
So Jose refers to the host as Senorita. Yeah. So I guess it was always female hosts. But Maynard gives that a moment ago.
He's gonna call me a strange name.
Yeah. I don't know, crazy bird. Everything he did, he was really into it.
And he, unless he eat, and he's mugging. He's
the other great part of that ride is you hear the earworm song at the tiki 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 room, but the birds' beaks are clacking because they're made of plastic. Yeah. So you hear what sounds like somebody's dropped a crate full of castanets while the song is being
Someone
played.
just on a hard parquet floor keeps dropping clothespins.
Yes, that's exactly
a handful of times.
Yep. But I would take that off for the same reason I would take.
And you also rode Small World for the first time.
Yes, and I rode Small World, which is interesting. It feels like the ride is a bit too long. Like at a certain point, I get it.
On a hot day, it's not long
but
enough.
It's fine. I enjoyed it just fine. It did feel like
I would say pretty much
second.
everything except for the Big Thunder and Jungle Cruise we've talked about. This is another. I feel like this maybe is going to be a deal breaker for me of what's decided too. Is that whatever the best ride at Disneyland has got to have its own song. Like the Jungle Cruise, I love it, but it doesn't have its own song.
Okay.
Tiki Room does. Big Thunder doesn't have its own song.
You gotta have Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Like you need your signature,
Yo-ho.
your theme song for.
I was going to throw out also Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but Mr. Toad's Wild Ride gives a terrible.
Takes you to hell.
Yeah, it gives
The
you.
only one.
It's a
The only
terrible
ride that
example for
takes-
the kids.
Well, I don't know. The Pinocchio
you
ride
drive
comes close
drunk.
to taking you to hell.
You drive drunk and then go to hell and little devils.
Yeah, and it ends
Okay.
there.
Good
message.
yeah. Don't drive drunk.
Drive drunk.
But those devils look super fun. You guys, I'm going to go drive drunk right now.
Those are some fun devils.
Again.
Those devils are the figment of Disneyland.
Yeah. So that's Disneyland figment.
How dare you knock figments?
I didn't. That was a compliment. You were saying
anything to
how
those
appealing the devils were, and I was comparing them to Figment.
I love figment.
So if it's down
Dreamfinder, I'm just right.
if it's Pirates of the Caribbean and it's Haunted Mansion, do we think that Jeffrey Rush and Bill Nighy and Johnny Depp being added to Pirates of the Caribbean takes away from?
And also,
or is it good integration with?
Who plays Blackbeard?
I said Jeffrey Rush.
No,
Blackbeard
that's
is
Barbosa.
Ian,
Blackbeard is
Ian
McShane.
You see Blackbeard in Orlando.
In Orlando.
Well, they switch it.
But I think we could say
They're locked
Pirates
now.
Parts of the
East Coast.
Caribbean is better in Disneyland than Disney World by far, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hands down.
So let's forget about Ian McShane.
Do you think that it's do you think that it helped the ride or hurt the ride?
Yeah, that's the question.
If those two rides are both neck and neck for first
But
place,
there's a third option that it didn't do anything to the ride.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, what was there where the projection was? There was nothing there. Was that black
nothing.
cave where those two old guys were talking?
There was just fog.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind him on the
Statler and
road.
Waldorf?
I don't mind him standing behind the thing.
The animatronics are really nice.
Yeah.
They're,
Yep.
Well,
I will
all except for
say
that last one, the
in,
unfortunate.
In Paris, I think it's hands down the best Pirates of the Caribbean there is. Like by a mile.
Now that's the one where you spill over the wall, right?
Well,
Through a hole in the- or you go through a
drop
hole in the
middle. No, you go up the thing, but I mean, like when the drop is, it's like in the middle of the ride once you've gone through like the powder storage and it blows up. Is when you drop, and then as soon as you drop down, then you're where the ship fight's going. Like it's very, and all the skeletons and stuff are at the end of the ride. It's like after all the fighting, everything's going like, oh, here they are.
So you're going into the future in that ride as opposed to
so
going
it's
back
not.
to the time.
It's not. You're not looking at the skeletons, and then it's.
And you start. I mean, when you go up the lift hill, that's like there's other pirates along you, like climbing up the wall of the fort to get in, and then you're in the fort for a while. And they're fighting, and like their restaurant is all like it's Caribbean food.
Okay.
So like, and where you go instead of like the New Orleans thing, like you're going through all these sunken ships.
It makes
It's
sense.
like a ship graveyard. Yeah.
Like, Pirates of the Caribbean has all those great, like the dog
Yeah.
with the keys in his mouth.
Iconic scenes.
They're all iconic tableaus, which
And they're funny gags in and of themselves.
Yep.
but we guys,
The guy with
this
the pigs.
this show is about determining the one. We
I mean,
can't
it's
have
got to
two.
be
We
one
have
of those
right
two.
now.
I think like the more popular amongst crazy Disney nerds is Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But I don't know
but
that it's a better ride. I think Pirates of the Caribbean is a better ride.
Although, here's the thing: Haunted Mansion, waiting to get on the ride is a ride. The ride starts once you're in the elevator. You have the voiceover. The room is stretching. You see the guy hanging, and then you get on. You walk through the hallway. Like every moment of that is
Wait
an
in line and you're
experience.
outside. It looks spooky.
Yeah, like they really sell the entire thing.
Now, Disney World, I do enjoy the fact that you ride through the portrait gallery and the library as opposed to walking through like you do in Disneyland to get underneath the berm.
The berm, by the way, is
Where the train goes.
Where the train, it's
so you
what
can't
hides.
see in from outside.
Yeah, you can't see the massive show building that actually houses the ride. It's not the tiny little building that you're walking into or the little house in New Orleans Square.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because you explained it to me 9 times over the course of the weekend, and every time I was like,
What's a
what is a berm? I've never heard that term before, so now we know what a berm
That's
is.
why I find that in Disneyland, you run from the elevator to go get on the line, to get on the ride. So you don't really
runs for the elevator to get on the line.
I do.
You're elbowing children on your way to get on.
I'm not elbowing children. Have you been to one of these parks with Ken? He's very intense.
Yes.
I am motivated. I am determined to maximize the amount of time that I have.
By the end of day 2, Ken was dragging me around like a
I would
caveman
have
in his
carried
life.
you.
I was in bad shape. I did not anticipate.
Ken, you do have the
I was going
stamina
through.
of a Disney.
You go to Disneyland like you have never been there before, and you're only there for 2 hours. And in fact, you're there from 7 in the morning until 3 at night, 3 a.m. at night. You were there how many days just now?
5.
At
5 days
Disneyland?
just now.
At Disneyland.
You know, there's only 2 parks, right? Did you go to Medieval Times for a full day in there?
I've never been to Medieval Times. Never been outside in Anaheim. Are there other things there?
How many times did you go on Haunted Mansion?
7, 8.
After this 5th time, what are you trying to maximize? Aren't you like, well, now I can relax? It's like they give you a checklist, like if you don't get on this 35 times, don't bring your nephews into this.
You go. I was pointing out why I could ride these rides so many times, and you will concede this as well, because you're just the same, even though you're pressing me on this, is that every time you ride one of those rides, you notice something different. You notice, some little accent that they put, some little character that moves in a certain way, some lighting cue you never noticed, some little sound.
Notice as much.
I don't care about the stuff outside.
Would you rather discover a new area of the park or a new sound cue?
I have
on riding number.
I have
There's a
explored.
second cat meowing.
I will say the dog in the Haunted Mansion is one of the saddest things. Like this
skinny little dog with
this
the
grave digger who's not feeding his dog.
Well, he's not feeding himself either, though.
Nobody's eating.
It's Ichabod Crane. It's the same actor that played Ichabod Crane in the cartoon, right?
Yeah, they just froze him. They sprayed him down with plastic.
All right, guys. Haunted Mansion or Pirates?
Just for the record, my chip-in was going to be It's a Small World, but people don't like that ride. I get it.
That was your choice.
I made us get a song. It's an iconic Disney.
It is an iconic.
Which version?
Were you trying to lead us to that with, well, whatever it is, it's got to have a song.
No. I was just thinking because I really am for the Jungle Cruise, but I was like, yeah. But then he was talking about the Tiki Room. I was like, you know what though? I think to be the best Disney ride, it's got to be one that had its own song written for the ride.
Sure.
Which would eliminate the Jungle Cruise. But I thought, well, it's just a Small World. It's like a ride that's just about its frickin' song.
Now, which version of a Small World? Because I think part of the appeal also for Small World for me is the Mary Blair aspect, which you get that beautiful building in Disneyland, which is stuck inside a building
sure.
and a half.
With the rare exception, I'm considering everything in the Disneyland version.
The Disney World
Pirates is better, but I also think and that's one that's in a bunch of different places too. Small World.
The Small World in Disneyland, maybe it looks like this at all the parks. It looks like somebody grabbed the sets from the old Donnie and Marie Osmond show.
Sid
and
Marty Krofft
present
It's a Small World.
Yeah.
So hey, we don't have any outdoor space to do It's a Small World. You want to put it in this old warehouse shoe store?
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Here's why I think it's the Haunted Mansion, because Walt appears in the ride.
Is he one of the busts?
He's one of the busts. Yes, he is, isn't he? He's not?
That's Thurl Ravenscroft. The guy with the voice of Tony the Tanger.
You thought that was Walt every time we went on that ride?
He's the skinny dog. That's where his remains are. They're cremated inside of that dog.
Look,
if you want Walt's
hitchhiking,
if you want Walt's head, it's easy to find. It's in a freezer somewhere.
I thought that was the skull on the headboard in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's in
at
both
the
rides.
UCLA Medical Center cafeteria, left in the deep storage freezer.
Next to the sorbet.
So even better.
You thought that was Walt?
I thought it was, but even better, it's Thurl Ravenscroft.
Well, many people do think. Many people think that.
And the others are famous Disney animators.
Those guys. Those were the Mellow Men, which was his barbershop quartet. Thurl Ravenscroft, and they were a barbershop quartet. They're the guys actually singing that.
Right. And they happen to have. They wanted people with really interesting faces.
Here's a little tidbit about that ride for you. The movie of Haunted Mansion that came out. Eddie Murphy vehicle. where they have
that went nowhere.
They've got those 4 busts that sing in this as well.
Oh, yeah, right.
And the 4 in that are the Dapper Dans, who were at the time that movie came out. Those were the 4 barbershop quartet singers at Disneyland. Little tidbit for you.
Interesting.
So there you go.
My friend and I, whenever we go there, we just mercilessly make fun of the Dapper Dan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why we always do.
Those poor guys. They're doing their best.
Lovely guys.
They're riding a 4-person bicycle around.
Of course they are.
Yeah. You ever try riding a
we always
four-man
think
bike?
it's like a weird plural marriage, and the 4 of them are all married and live on Main Street, and they dress each other, and we just had this insane, crazy backstory of the Dapper Dan.
That sounds more like fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's almost Dapper Dan
pretty
fan
much.
fiction.
It's pretty
more
much,
like slash fiction.
Everybody read Dana Snyder's fanfic about the Dapper
Yeah.
Dans.
A Dapper Day with the Dapper Dan.
Yeah. So, okay.
You're going Haunted Mansion.
I would go Haunted Mansion.
The only other argument you could say about the 2 of these is that Walt Disney had much more of a hand in Pirates of the Caribbean as opposed to having almost none of a hand in the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
Other than wanting it. It was part of his vision.
Yeah,
for the
but
park.
I mean, like, it was not anything like. We thought that what they were, when they were talking, it was still going to be like a walk-through museum.
Right.
Like, it was so far.
But he was fully aware before he died that it was going to be a ride.
Well, they built the building, and then the building sat there for like 10 years.
But he was
I'm just
fully
saying, I mean, as far as Pirates, he's had a much deeper hand in there.
But for me, the experience of the Haunted Mansion, from waiting in line to going in,
Good point.
elevator, hallway, even the ghost being projected inside your car, there's a feeling of interactivity that you don't, like, the most interactivity I feel in Pirates of the Caribbean, which I also love, is like, oh, look, those people are having dinner, and now they're watching me stuck on this boat, or I'm watching them stuck in that restaurant.
Or the Jack Wedge, throw me a roll.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, every 12th ride is you're on there with, like, 3 little jackasses from on spring break from the Orange Community College who, you just are screaming on, why are you even here?
Yep.
I don't understand why you're even here. You're just, you're ruining this.
And they're like, shut up, old man. We saw you making fun of the Dapper Dans.
Yeah.
Nobody misses Dapper Dance.
I'm leaning toward, I could be swayed either way. It feels like this was going to come down to a vote.
Okay.
I'm leaning toward Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
For both personal reasons, because I love it so much. I think it is objectively a fantastic ride. And I used to play a pirate down there, so that is.
I did a voice match for Paul Frees for a Club 33 event.
Yeah.
And did his, so I've listened to that audio so many times, and then recorded it, and it is the only part of me that's been in Club 33, because I've never been in there, just my voice. So
Let's ask our 2 guests. We're at a stalemate on this one.
I'm gonna say Haunted Mansion. I have to go Haunted Mansion because I could ride that again and again and notice a new detail.
Have ridden it again.
I could, and I have, and I will. I'm going back this week.
He's riding it right now. This is a life model
That's
detour
right,
Ken
yeah.
Plume sitting next to me.
I don't know.
Also because of the presence of Paul Frees, I just think as a
Yeah, but he's on the
cohesive-
other one.
But as a but he's not.
He's doing
He
a pirate
persists
voice.
throughout.
Show us your larboard side.
And you know what? I like the song better. It's close, but I love the Grim Grinning Ghost much more. I think it's, and it also has a nice balance between being disturbing,
And fun.
and funny.
Yeah.
And it straddles that line effectively, and I think just overall creativity is much more impressive in Haunted Mansion.
I don't think the creativity is more impressive on either of them. I think they're both very creative. But I do think
we're comparing 2 things that we already agree are the greatest. So we're looking for.
But I go back and forth between both of them because Pirates of the Caribbean is more of a shared experience with people on your boat, which can sometimes be very fun. It's got the drops, which are fun but not too crazy. I also think, like on that ride, there's at least 3 moments where you come into a room and everybody goes, "Wow!" And that doesn't happen as much on Haunted Mansion. Like you get the big ship in that thing, and then when everything's on fire, that's like another big thing. You get the little drops. I like that crazy, weird jazz music playing with like that weird, when you're waiting to get on the ride, I don't know. I could go either way.
If you were running to the park and could only ride one of those 2, which would you make a beeline for?
Now I'm thinking, like, and also Haunted Mansion, like, as a sellout, they changed to Haunted Mansion Holiday for 3 months out of the year.
We're not counting the overlays.
But what happens if I go there and it's December and I want to go on my favorite ride and now all of a sudden I got to look at Jack Skellington? I don't know. I think if I was going off, what I think is the best Pirates of the Caribbean, which means we're tied.
Which means we're tied up.
The Pirates Mike and the Haunted
Thankfully,
Mansion Mike.
we have the man who breaks all ties here. My father, Bill. Dad, we come over here for a second?
We need to borrow you, Bill.
All we need
Bill Loveland, ladies and
one
gentlemen.
answer from you. Daddy
We are split right now. Half
And
of
the answer's
half
not
of
we
this
should all
esteemed
get along.
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, half of this esteemed panel believes that Pirates of the Caribbean is the ultimate Disney ride. The
Classic.
other half believes that it is the Haunted Mansion. You are our tiebreaker.
So all we need is the answer of which part. No
Haunted Mansion.
folks, there you have it.
All
My
right.
bloodline runs strong.
Interesting. Hal wanted Haunted
Yeah.
Mansion, and then his father chose
and then
it.
a Loveland shows it.
I'm the
how
fruit.
little his father loves him.
Yeah.
So that was a big victory.
That is the first time my father and I have spoken in 30 years, and he did it to tell you all the greatest Disney attraction, park ride, is the Haunted Mansion. So go there and go to Disneyland right now and check out the new Hatbox Ghost, who has reappeared. His head disappears
that's right.
and appears in a hat box and then goes
You'll
back.
probably see Ken on there.
That's right. And
The
you'll
guy
you'll run
elbowing you
into
to get
Ken.
onto the doom buggy.
He'll be talking to you about Berms
Yeah.
and telling you to listen to every individual voice there is.
Talk to me.
Mom, what's a berm and who's this guy talking to
Yeah.
me?
Look at the spider. The spider was where someone shot a hole through the glass.
Why am I in the carriage with him? So there you go. Enjoy your dancing ghosts.
Yeah,
And
thank
visit
you,
Disneyland.
thank you guys. As always, first of all, huge thanks to our special guests,
Yes.
Dana Snyder and Ken Plume. And thanks.
Tell everybody where we can find you online.
You can find the Ken PD Snydecast at snydecast.com, and you can also find us at a site called fred.com. And Dana, we can find you on Twitter.
Probably. We do a Disney podcast, Drunk on Disney.
Yes.
I think it's at drunkonDisney.com.
Yes.
At Dana Snyder.
Something at Twitter, at Dana Snyder. I don't know.
I'm at Ken Plume.
There you go. And we are at We Got This Tweets if you have a subject for us that you want us to settle for you once and for all to impress your friends.
That's right. And as always, many thanks to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein, who wrote our score, and Mike Furman, who wrote our song.
Yes, and special thanks to my father, Bill Loveland, for making the right decision. You can find him
thanks
at
a lot.
Bill Loveland on Twitter. 3 L's in a row. Thanks to Ken Plume. Hey, personally, we're here for a second, Ken. Thanks so much for all the mixing and mastering you do of our episodes.
You're very welcome. I like making Mark sound as great as I know he always does.
That's right. And good luck.
And I fix you.
Yeah, good luck with this episode where we listened to Third Eye Blind for an hour while talking on a windy porch.
Well, it sounded like he was making one point, and yet two princes
The jokes I
turned
knew,
rapidly
but
into
they're actually
cranberries.
playing live here at the Hilton Basement in the back of the sushi bar.
This is where they live now.
That's right.
All right, so send us all of your new topics that you would love to hear at We Got This Tweets.
Or email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com or go to Facebook.com/We Got This Podcasts.
For Hal Loveland, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
And for Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Loveland.
And don't worry, everyone. We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.
Hey, this is Pop Rocket. We're your source for all pop culture information.
It's an intellectual and incredibly snark-filled discussion about pop culture by 5 cranky Hollywood 30-somethings. No name-calling, no rudeness, just straight talk and a lot of role play.
I'm only 30-something for another year.
Me too. And I don't tell anybody I'm 30-something.
Pop Rocket comes out every week from MaximumFun.org.
Bikini season.
Volleyball time.
Hot dogs and hamburgers.
Get ready to Olympic dive.
4th of July.
Are you ready for rollerblading rain time?
That's right. It's Aaron and Brian from Throwing Shade, if you didn't know from that very clear intro.
We take a look at issues involving ladies and gays, and we treat them with much less respect than they deserve. So watch out, punks.
So, hey, download us and take us to the beach while you're doing your summertime fun.